welcome to Flory Models. I'm Flory. Packed show for you today. Lots to go through. Okay, starting off with this week. Monday we started on the Merkava tank, as you can see here. Great build, loving it, plenty of photo etch, but it's the time consumption. And it's little thing struck me as I was working through it that when you're working with like an aircraft model, such as something like this on the Hawk, you spend a lot of time trying to make it seamless and get rid of all the imperfections in the plastic and in seam lines, and that's where all your time sort of gets tied up with just making sure that there's no real noticeable gaps and that really it is just like the real thing, which is quite time consuming when you're dealing with fillers, because fillers, you know, by their nature take a long time to dry and cure, and you get shrinkage and they can be a bit of a pain all the way round. So when you think of armour, you think, oh, that's great, because you don't really have to worry about that, because like with weld marks you can do various techniques like I showed through this week's video builds on them. But if I just grab him a moment, what struck me was the amount of time that it takes doing things like photo etch on armour, because there's a lot of it. Now, if you've got a kit that hasn't got photo etch, it's pretty much straightforward. And I show you in these videos, part 2, about using PVA glue as a weld effect, various things like that. But the time it takes to do all the little bits that go on armour, it's probably the same amount of time. Yeah, I was thinking, oh, you know, no problem, we're just gonna whiz through this and pocket it together, 2 days and we're done. And although it's only 2 parts, parts 1 and 2 get this into the spray bay for painting, the amount of time it took off camera, well on camera but edited out because obviously I'll bore you to death, is quite phenomenal. Because as you know, I did speak about the track. This is all the track parts in here, but certainly we've got things like the chain and ball system that goes onto the rear. You guys following this know all about this, and you guys that are building this know all about this as well. Just the time it takes to get them to the correct length, to cut, to bend, okay, and then to loop around and make it look all right. I spent 4 hours doing 36 little chainy things, you know, and it's like, wow, it seems a lot longer. So, you know, when you sort of do hourly rate between doing armour and aircraft, I think there's really nothing in it. You know, I know a lot of people seem to think that armour guys have a lot easier time of it because, you know, you can really, there's no mistakes. You can go to town with it. It doesn't matter if things are bent and things like that. But certainly, you know, if you're doing it right and you want it to look, you know, somewhat there, the amount of time it took to do it and just the level of photo etch going on this one, we've got it around the back, around the sides and everything else, it really does sort of, you know, all mount up and everything else. So hands off to you guys, or hats off even. Fantastic work. You know, the armour guys, you can do fantastic things with weathering, which is something I'm going to be showing you. I know a lot of you think that I just use like our weathering wash and everything else like that. Well, that's not true, because you know I like to use inks, especially Indian inks, things like that for it. But also I'm going to be showing you some fantastic little tips and tricks to give you depth very, very quickly, very, very easily, using the wash as well as using enamel paints and turpentine and things like that to give you sort of bleached out effects, stain effects and everything else without busting a budget, spending literally hundreds of pounds and dollars, euros on all fancy pigments and various things like that, because you really don't need them. And hopefully I'll talk you through those very, very quickly. So parts 1 and 2 of the Merkava tank build is up there at the moment. Yes, I do know part 1 does describe it as a Merkava F117A, and I've just got to re-edit it, but I wanted to have the new one up there before I took the old one away, otherwise you lot be wondering where it is. And because we've been uploading a lot this week, as a lot of you know, my internet connection is horrendous here. I get, you know, nothing download and even less upload speed. It does take 6 hours to put up a 15-minute video at the moment, so you know, bear with us, it will change. But apart from that, and the other thing as well, I did describe it as a Merkava tank or something else like that. But anyway, just get a little bit tongue-tied, especially when you're dealing with multiple projects all at the same time. So anyway, a couple of things obviously have gone up. Dave is cracking on fantastically with his fire truck at the moment, and here is his update for this month about obviously showing you the completed with his pursuit car, with the police car, which is absolutely fantastic, and a little bit about the lighting. This is a standalone as well, you might have seen it, but here's Dave talking about this month.
Hey guys, Dave here. Just wanted to do a Schlingmann update for you. I promised you some videos, so here we go. I'll kind of take you into the build, where I'm at in the build at the moment, and I want to show you some things I learned with these LEDs I've been ordering on the internet. Show you some differences between bright white and warm white I think they call them cool white and warm white LEDs. And I'll show you the police cars finished. I never really did a proper show and tell on the police car. So let's get into it. Alright, so this is where we're at so far. For those of you who've been following my build on the forum, you know I've already got my chassis pretty much built up. The only difference is I have added the bumper and the headlights for it as well, and I'll show you that more about that in a second. Basically pre-painting a lot of the parts, trying to get the rest of the back end of the truck sort of figured out. What I'm trying to figure out here at the moment is how to sneak my wires around this thing so they're not noticeable, and you know, get it fully lit without any problems. You can see how crazy it can get when you're adding a lot of LEDs all at once. So basically the cab has finished LEDs, so I'll just kind of go over them. I've got 6 SMD chip style blue LEDs for the light bar. Now, watching reference photos and videos on YouTube and stuff like that on these trucks, these are not the revolving style light, they're a flasher light, so I can get away with that with my circuits. I just got these front lights in today. Not incredibly happy with how they went on, but I think they look okay. I took some still photos, which I'll post in the forum, on how I got these in. It's really not that hard, guys. You just, you know, just gotta figure it out. I'm just winging this as we go, so I'm not like I'm not an expert at this. This is all a learning experience for me, and I'm just sharing it with you. Okay, so you can see where I've got the headliner in the top. There's a dome light in there that I've also added just to kind of show off the interior. And there is seemingly some space for my wires. This is magnet wire I'm using. One of you were asking, so sorry about that. It's a magnet wire. These ones come with the LEDs that I order, and then I've got some 24 gauge solid core wire that I bought in spools. Like, let me grab it here. Like that. They just come in spools. They're like $5. And this is almost done, of course, but I've gotten quite a bit of mileage out of it. Just to extend the wires, they already come with the resistors for 9 volts. You can order them. I order them from Evan Designs. You can Google it yourself. But you can order the wire length you want, and you know, the voltage you're going to use and stuff like that. They'll accommodate you. So that's what I've been doing there. I got the interior done. It looks alright, I guess. These deals in the back, these are oxygen tanks, I guess, for the firemen, and they're not very detailed, so I try to throw in some belts and stuff just with a paintbrush. I mean, you're not going to really see it anyways, but it wasn't that incredibly detailed, so I'm not too impressed with that. But other than that, it's not that bad. This is going to be fully windowed, so all the glass comes with this, so you're not going to see a lot of interior. That's why I wanted to put the light in there, just to kind of show off that interior as best I could. But with the glass and stuff, it obscures and stuff. You're not going to see a lot of detail, but at least it'll give it that impression. Alright, moving on. Alright guys, so this is the headlight system. Let me turn this light out here, maybe see them a bit better. Just ordered some 3mm warm white LEDs, but I have to say I was a little disappointed. I ordered 6 of them, and I put in 2 from the same package, and they're 2 different colors. So I don't know if that's a cool white maybe you're not seeing it on the camera, but this one here is definitely yellower than this one. So that was a little upsetting. Looking at the back, you can see how difficult it would be to pull that all apart. So I've decided to live with it. I'm just gonna suck it up and move on. I'll give you another example here. The other 4 LEDs, I was just working on this little side build just to keep my mojo going. Turn this light off again. Let me pop this on. So you can see this. Hopefully there's not too much glare, but definitely more of a realistic looking yellowed headlight, rather than those bright, cool white LEDs that you typically get. So I'm quite happy that they have this option. I had no idea, so pardon me if you already know about these things, if I'm a little excited about it, because that was always the dilemma, was those bright white LEDs for headlights, which don't look really all that, realistic. And I also did the backlights as well. I'm just trying to find a toothpick here so I can pop this hood, or this trunk, sorry. I cut this trunk open just on this one, just to put all the guts in. There's no fancy circuit boards or anything in here, it's just on and off. So I just got a bunch of button cell, 6 of them piled together will give you 3 volts. And then, well actually, no, I have these 3 of these piled together for 9 volts because I've got my 9 volt resistors in there, sorry. So it's just something a little fun, something a little bit. The kit itself, the reason why I rusted this one is because it doesn't fit too good, so I was a little disappointed. The body was a little warped, so I was able to fix a lot of it, but being that it was such a bugger, I decided I would just make it a beater, just so, it's self-explanatory. Alright, so that's, I wish I had an example of, here, I do have an example. Bear with me guys here. This is a bright white LED. I hope the camera can pick up the difference, so you know what I'm talking about. I'll just touch this to this 9 volt. So you can see, at least I can see, well, there, hopefully you can see that. You can see how bright that is. It's extremely bright. And let's see if I can move it over here. It's just not very realistic when it comes to regular everyday driving lights. So, anyways, that's that. Alright guys, so here's this light standard thing that I've been working on. I decided to scratch build it because the one that came with the kit was really, here let me grab it, just really not usable for if you want to wire it, and I thought it would be really cool to be able to have it on the truck, and then it goes up and down and rotates and whatever. Sorry guys, I'm not even in the shot here. Just up and down and rotates, and keep it like that. Let me touch it to some power here. This is going to be the bright white lights, so I'm okay with that. Well, I don't have any resistors on here, so I better make sure I don't blow them. That's a 9 volt battery. Where are we here? This is a 3 volt battery. Oops. So you can see that, just kind of adds a little more realism to this truck. Just these little details. Of course, that'll be, I'll get some resistors on here, and this will be 9 volt as well. It'll be a little brighter than that too. So I'm sure the camera's overemphasizing just how bright they really are, but they'll be bright. Also, just a little tidbit, these LEDs that I've been ordering, they get a little expensive. I mean, they're about $2.10 each. If you order so many, you get a bit of a discount, but not much, and then you got shipping on top of it. So far I've got about $30 in LEDs on this. So I went out and I was looking for these SMD chip style LEDs, and I just can't find them anywhere. So at this electronics store, they were selling this strip lighting, which I know a lot of these guys that do the sci-fi projects, they love this stuff. But it's got all these, they're not really small SMD chips, but they're small enough. And so what I've been doing is I've been cutting them off and just using them like that. Here, I'll just light them up. Just light this up for you. This is on a 9 volt, but it's made for 12 volt, but because I've cut some off already, they light up just fine on a 9 volt battery. So I've been cutting them off with a sharp knife, and this one I showed you earlier is actually one of them. And I've just been resoldering. Let me turn some more light on here for you. It's, you know, cheap little battery powered solder kit and some solder. And just been doing them myself. I've been, you know, it's easy to get a meter and just measure the resistor. And then you've made yourself a 9 volt LED. You can see here where I just touched the solder on the back and stuff. And so now you've got some lighting options. And really this came with 33 LEDs. And I paid 12 bucks for it. So, you know, with a little bit of work on your own, you can save some money. Also, it's important to have some, when you're doing these joints, to have some shrinkable tubing. I do these union splices so they're in line, not twisted together. You'll find it goes a lot better when you're doing them, and try to keep everything as neat as possible, because quite honestly, you get just even 6 LEDs going together, you're getting a lot of wiring happening, and a lot of this stuff has to be wired in parallel. So you really got to keep down, and you know, as the cab shows as well, the wiring just piles up really fast. So what I'm going to do to hide this wiring is, fortunately, this equipment section of the vehicle has a big space in here, so I can stick my circuit board in there, and if I have to, a couple of LEDs, no problem. Everything will fit back in there. And then I'll have the top, I'll just have it so it's removable, so I can service it or replace the batteries whenever necessary. Alright guys, so here it is for the final time. This patrol car. It's already gotten a little dusty, but let me turn the light off here. I'll just give you a kind of a rundown here of what everything's doing. So, whoops. There's 2 switches at the back. 9 volt battery. I just spray painted it black and stuck it on the back with Velcro, so it looks like a fuel tank. There was a fuel tank that came with this, but I cut it off, and now the battery's the fuel tank. So there it is, flashing away. Circuit board. I don't know if I showed you this already, but everything's sitting in the back there. You can see it's an absolute mess, but it makes sense to me, so that's all that matters, really. So what do we get? We have a total of 24 LEDs altogether. One quick thing I wanted to show you too is when I was showing you on the Schlingmann, the amber light, you can see on this one where I didn't do that. If you check my build thread, I show you how to do this a little differently, where you kind of got to bevel in the hole or recess the hole. Otherwise you get a flashing dot like that, which is not really desirable. On the Schlingmann, I think I've remedied that by making it more of a canyon, I guess, or you know, it's tapered down, and then I put my bare metal foil over it, and it gives it more of a glow. So, and you're not getting this flashing dot effect, which is, you know, live and learn, right? So, anyways, interior light inside there. I've got the California Highway Patrol style lights. Got some flashers, just have it really going here, just for fun. And then, of course, I had to order a siren for it, so here we go, guys. It's a 4-phase siren. I'll just play with it for a sec here. And it's got a steady. Alright guys, that's all I got for now. We'll get in, as we get into more of this stuff with the Schlingmann, I'll be more forthright with how I'm going to wire it and the circuit board stuff. I'll show you the circuit board. I'm just going to make one. You can buy them cheap, but I like doing it, so I'm just going to make it. Then we'll, I'm hoping to have this done kind of end of October, but we'll see how it goes. And then I'm going to have another project on the go. I got something from my stash. I got a bunch of ideas I'm going to throw around, and we'll see where that goes. So, anyways, if you hung on this long, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.
Great work, Dave. Absolutely loving it. It's great to be able to see it, and when you're showing it on camera like that, it really is working. Don't forget, anyone can see Dave's work for the fire truck and everything else. It is on the main site. It's down in the featured area, and you can see it on today's page at any point. Just click in the search for Dave, and it'll come up with all his work and everything else, and you can see it just like that. But as I said, fantastic, and it's great. Little things like using the battery as a fuel tank. Absolutely makes perfect sense, and you can't tell. Brilliant. So anyway, congratulations to him. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job. Also, the other thing that ended briefly, was up and then came down again, me losing the plot, was the Rubber Meets Road SIG. And as I've had it pointed out to me, all by females actually, it's quite a perverted title, but I didn't think of it at the time, but now you mention it, probably. Be careful what you put into Google. But anyway, that video is up at the moment. Not many entries into it, hence we've got a bit of a longer intro into it. If you're into TT motorbikes and everything else like that, you'll love it. So that's what it was, but the quality of the work was absolutely fantastic, because as I know, working with gloss at the moment on the Hawk, it's one of those things, to get it right and in scale is no easy feat at all. To get it to look flat with no orange peeling, no bittiness and stuff like that is not easy at all. So a lot of that work has got it. And then at the other scale, you've got some of the best weathering I have seen on vehicles ever in my life. You know, you've got sort of, with the rust effects, especially the Volkswagen Camper and Dean's one as well, that's absolutely fantastic, the way that that just bleeds through and everything else. So great work, well done to all of you who took part. Absolutely stunning. You can see that just down below here. It's going to be underneath the news show or around this area somewhere. It's also on our Facebook page as well, so go ahead, have a sit back, kick your feet off for 10 minutes and you can watch that one. That was absolutely fantastic. Other things we've had going on, he says, trying to wake up the tablet, come on. We had Ross's P51 Mustang. This was the, who do they call it? I've just got to remember its name now. Fine Structures model P51 132nd scale. Amazing, absolutely. You have to see this one. You know, I'm looking at it down here at the tablet now. It is stunning. The detail is amazing, and I think it's one of those kits where, you know, most modelers be very, very intimidated about doing it purely because of its, you know, the technical work of photo etch, gluing photo etch parts, not making a mess of it, and everything else isn't easy. But I think, as Ross has pointed out, when you get on a bit of a roll with it, it's not too bad at all. Especially have a look at some of the materials he's used and everything else. You could follow his build through there. It's completed now, and you've got all these fantastic reveal photos you can see here. Absolutely stunning. So congratulations to him. Hopefully you'll be seeing some more of his work very, very soon here on Flory Models, because that is an absolute gem. And it's one of those ones, immediately I went off and had a look at it, because I think, oh, I'd like to do that. You know, they do the Zero as well, which looks very, very nice. Obviously the P51, there's a rumour mill going around, there's a Corsair coming out as well. So you could do that thing a little bit like Ross has done here by putting a structured one, shall we say, alongside the Tamiya one as well, because then you've got the best of both. You can see the internals on one, you've got the beautiful externals on the other. So really, really nice work on those. Other things we've had happening this week, we just slip all the way through. The guys have been working busy on the future builds and everything else like that. One we do have to mention, I think I'm going the wrong way now. Stefan's doing amazing work on the Bismarck. As I said, he's been a little bit tied up with real life things going on at the moment. A lot of you have been asking about it, and as you can see, he's working on the stack at the moment with the photo etch work goes through it. Stunning, absolutely, hands down, easiest, my best, well, in the world, I would say, the best ship kit I have seen built. Okay, the level of detail, the attention to detail and everything else like that is absolutely stunning on this, absolutely beautiful. So anyway, you can catch up with his build at the moment, just pop onto the main site, you can see it on there as well. Okay, we've got 2 kit reviews. These are standalones on the main site and everything else. But first up, I'm just going to bring one to you this week in this week's news show, and that's the brand new tooled Harrier. This is the GR1 version by Airfix. Quite excited about this one. This is the new tooled Airfix Harrier. This is the GR1, the first version of the actual Harrier. Now, if you see my other reviews on 172nd aircraft, you'll know that I did one on the Sea Harrier for the FA2 version and wasn't really impressed. So it'd be interesting to see what we've got in here and go right the way through. Now, into the box, after some lovely artwork on the actual box, we have a smaller bag of sprues. So what we're going to do, one bag fits all, which is pretty much Airfix's sort of standard way of doing things. Okay, we've got the clear parts just down there, and then what we have, we've got 4 sprues. So looking at this one, the first thing that jumps out to me is the panel line detail is a lot finer than other versions. Okay, this is obviously totally new tooled because we've got a lot better and more in scale panel lines on the main fuselage here and on the drop tanks and everything else. Got a little bit of bend on the pitot tube there. But as you might be able to see, we've got a lot finer detail on these panel lines. It's a lot better than the other one. We've got a little bit of detail in the inside of the cockpit as well, which is quite a nice touch. We're liking that. And as you can see, the styrene itself, just looking at the gates and the way it all is a lot finer than certainly we've had with recent Airfix releases, which tend to be sort of repops or reboxing and things like that. So that's quite nice. We've basically got the other side of the fuselage here. Again, some nice going on. We've got no visible signs of flash or anything else actually on the parts. Again, we've got this situation which is quite nice. So we've got weight on wheels. By that means that the tyre's pushing down and splaying out and everything else. So we've got 2 versions. You've got the up and the down for the weight on wheels, as you can see. The gear, a lot more detailed than other versions of the Harrier we've seen. One-piece moulded nozzles. These little guys down here, okay, you can't see in, they are solid, where the other ones, at least they were hollow and you could see in. But apart from that, but certainly a lot nicer than other Harriers we've looked at. So we actually have the main spar across the top, as you can see here. As you might be able to see, we have some very nice panelling detail, which is a lot finer than the other Harrier. So I'll just take this opportunity to show you what I mean. I have here from another review, which you can see on the site, this is Sea Harrier. So if I just grab the difference, you can see the difference between the spars, and hopefully you can see the difference between the engraving. Certainly a lot finer, as you can see on this one down below. And we've got the flaps and the ailerons are actually missing here, so I assume they're going to be positionable, which is another very nice touch. But hopefully you can see the difference on the side cam there between the two. So certainly we have a totally new toolkit, which is one thing I know a lot of people are asking about. Same type of design there. We've got the inserts just down here. We've got the instrument panel, which is blank, so I'll see if that'll be a decal going on, and all the parts down there. So very impressed with that. Okay, we've got a better, more highly detailed cockpit because we've got small little bit of detail going on down in here. So we've got this little fret here with some hoses and everything else. We've got a tail, which is going to be on the top. Okay, we've got the main gear part down here, a little bit more detailed than we had before. The compressor blades certainly a lot better than we had before. And this is the beautiful thing about this kit. We have positionable flaps. and ailerons on this, which is something we haven't seen before. Got a little bit more detail certainly down here on these seats and everything else going through. As you can see, we've got the CRV 7 rocket pods. Again, weight on wheels. You get 3. Why would you get 3? Don't know. Perhaps there's another one on another sprue somewhere, but it seems funny we've got 3. Oh, sorry, nose wheel, of course it is. So we've got the main gear and we've got weight on wheels for those, and the nose wheel is weight on wheels as well. Okay, so very nicely done. I have to say, compared to other Harriers, this one looks like it could be a little bit of a gem. Look at the decals. So, as we can see, number one squadron, which obviously we'd expect. Again, it's that horrible flat business, but at least they're all in register, or as far as I can see. They all look to be dead-centred, so no problems there. And we've got number 20 squadron there as well for the GR1s. And we've got a lot more common markings all down here, which will really liven up your Harrier and make it a little bit better. And a lot more in scale, having some little fine details all around it. And as I say, we've got an instrument panel, which is going to be a decal onto there. But at this scale, I think you can get away with it. If it's, you know, perhaps something a little bit bigger, then we wouldn't. The cockpit glass, certainly a massive improvement over the last one. I know we didn't look at it in the review because I wasn't expecting much, but you might be able to see just down here, we've got this glass is actually pretty clear. For the scale, that isn't bad at all. We've got a little bit of distortion in there, but again, it's a heavy curved piece. It's 1/72 scale. I'm not expecting anything out of it at all, but that isn't bad at all, so quite happy with that. Okay, let's have a look how this thing goes together. Actually, I think it's pretty much the standard Harrier way of doing things. Okay, so what we've got just down here. Okay, seat going together, certainly more detailed than the other one. We've got the base cushion going in. Cockpit, so we have decals for the outside parts and everything else goes in. That looks odd. I think that's around the wrong way. I'm sure you would have the detail facing inwards rather than outwards. I don't know. We'll have to check on that. I'm sure we did see... I don't know. I'm just assuming you would have this bit of detail here would be facing inwards, but I don't know. Perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps it's going to stand... Oh, I don't know. Perhaps it's the... Actually, I can't even understand why it's that way, but never mind. I'm sure it'll make sense later on. So we have... Seat goes in, instrument panel, cockpit goes through. The intake system, so we've got the actual part of the down here, as you can see, will be the nose wheel bay goes in. Don't forget all the Harrier doors close up afterwards, so you're not going to see them anyway. Okay, and that all fits in. I'm just trying to work out why the detail would be inside, because you can't see it. Oh, that's why. Okay, this bit down here, as we were saying about this detail, is the inside of the nose wheel bay, and that's how that's going to fit down there. So there we go, now we know. Talks about the stand, which unfortunately you do have to buy separately, or you can poke it on your own stand. Two halves go together, tailplane goes in, so it is going to be movable as well, which is quite a nice touch, okay. Tail goes in, this tells me there's other versions of this coming along, okay, because it's being sub-assemblies, alright. And then we've got the tail brake goes on the back, insides of the wings, the main wing spar, we've got the actual main intake scoops, so you can have them with the actual parts. Is it going inwards, outwards? Yeah, it is. So you can actually have them open or closed. Quite a nice touch again. Okay, popping those in. The only trouble with those is painting. Okay, so we've got pylons being attached. Got the Aiden gun pods going in there, the Pegasus nozzles, the blast shields off the back. Okay, you can obviously position the nozzles we'd expect. Gear going on, again, remember the doors do close normally, so underneath it, so I'm not quite sure, they don't give a thing for that, but normally they do. Okay, going through, weight on wheels, gear up, gear down, pretty standard. Air brake, you can actually have open or closed. Weapons fit as we're going on into there. Okay, HUD going in, some nice little touches with the nose and the parts all going on like that. And it all fits in. And then we have the markings. One thing I just wanted to look at was the positionable of the flaps. I must have just missed that somewhere. Oh, I see what we're doing here. So, alright, this is where it pays to probably read the instructions before we talk about the actual kit. So we have the situation where I thought we had positionable, we don't. What it is, they are moulded up into the up position from the underside, which is a bit of a shame, because it would be nice to see the Harrier with the flaps down, because it just gives it a better look, especially if you're, you know, trying to do a sort of hovering type thing, or just normal sitting on the ground. Unfortunately, it doesn't. They are moulded in the up position, which is a real shame when they've taken the time to do the back of them like this, but not the actual underside. Never mind, that cures that little problem. Okay, so we have the call-outs. This is what's lovely about this aircraft. We have the actual proper camo. So we've got the light underside just down here, okay, and then we've got the two-tone over the top, which is really, really nice. Very nice, colourful aircraft back in the day before they all turned grey. As you can see, so basically we are talking 1971 and 70 colours. So we've got number 1 squadron, number 20. Lovely aircraft to do. You've got all your common call-outs, as you can imagine, on the back and everything else like that. I have to say, having reviewed literally 10 minutes ago the other kit, this one is a million times better. And to be honest, it looks like Airfix have, you know, spent a little bit more money on this one, and have really tried to get the scale effect, which is really nice, because this is very nicely, it's sharp, detailed recessed panel lining, which is what we want. Okay, I think it'll take a wash very well, and everything else like that. So definitely a must-have 1/72 scale kit, and because this was the start of the Harrier family, really it's a bit of a must. And looking at the way it's put together, I can imagine Airfix will be coming out then with later Airfix kits as well, such as the GR3. I'm assuming because of the nose, so obviously we'll have the longer nose, and then even we'll be starting to perhaps work through with the Sea Harrier fleet as well. Perhaps they'll get a makeover in years to come. So certainly from my point of view, fantastic. The best Harrier in 1/72 I've seen up to date. It'd be a dream to go together, and yes, I am building this one very, very shortly. So if you want to stay tuned with us at Flory Models, you'll be seeing me do this one as part of the new basic range. So there we go, the new Airfix Harrier GR1, a must buy for everyone. Okay, so don't forget, you can also see, obviously you've got the Sea Harrier build for the FA2 as well as up, will be up very, very shortly, is the Meng 1/72. This is the G91R and R3 kit. Again, fantastic, beautifully detailed, different score to these. We've also got coming up very, very shortly as well, we've got the F102, the Meng one. This is the limited edition. This is the George W. Bush one, as well as we've got the Sukhoi T50 as well, which is certainly making a little bit of headlines at the moment around the world. This is a special edition, and as you'll find out in the review when you see it, it'll be up over the next few days, that it's actually a Zenda kit, which is what I didn't realise till the end of review. So if you see it, you'll understand now that I review blind. I don't see anybody else's reviews. I'm a bit blinkered anyway, as you know, I sit here in my own little bubble, but I don't like to watch anybody else's review, because I'm trying to bring you my opinion and not somebody else's. Hence whilst I didn't realise it was a reek box until the end of it when I noticed it on the sprue, but it explains everything. So anyway, you want to watch that one, really nice to see. Okay, so that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. Next week I'm going to give you a run through of the actual area itself, okay, the studio. I had loads of people asking about different setups, things like that, and obviously the last time we did it we were at the old place, so we'll give you a run through of the studio completely, what I use, why, where and when, and everything else like that. So until next week everybody, happy modelling and take care.